A lot of legislation flows through the Illinois State House. I think they passed like 665 bills in spring session, and the governor's been working his way throughout them. Sometimes he releases, hey, the governor's office announces 150 bills signed. We gotta go through all of it. It's a tough time. Other times he releases statements via email that one particular bill signed. Other times he holds bill signing ceremonies, and he held one yesterday at the Illinois State Fair dealing with FFA and 4-Hers and allowing them to get some credit for the work they do in those clubs when they have to be away from school. Well, to talk more about this is Kevin Semlow. He is with the Illinois Farm Bureau, and he joins us now with Springfield's Morning News on WMAY. It's a big deal, Kevin.
Yeah, it was. It's a great opportunity for the state to step up and realize that there's more than education than sitting in a classroom, and it's getting out and actually learning hands-on. And this bill helps set that up for 4-H and the FFA students, and it was a great opportunity to move that program forward.
So before the bill was signed, what would happen to these students?
Unfortunately, these students would basically have to choose with getting a unexcused absence from school and having that show up on the record, even though they're going to these programs that lay out great opportunities for leadership or hands-on experience. And so it's been a longstanding policy out there, and this just removes that and helps make it a part of education now.
You know, it's one thing to have a student who's truant all the time or wanting to stay home and play video games instead of going to school, but that wasn't the case here, right? I mean, these were high-performing students, leaders in their classes, leaders in the community, really advancing themselves in what they hope to be their lifelong career of being in agriculture.
Well, it's not just agriculture, it's other programs. For instance, my son's in a 4-H club, and it does robotics. They go out and they compete in robotics competitions. And so you've got computer programmers that run that program the equipment. They go out and they actually build it, and then they have a competition. So you learn real life skills. Unfortunately, these kids were having to decide whether do I take an unexcused absence and take degraded grades or whatever the policies were in the school districts, and or go do this hands-on thing. And it's a great opportunity. And so now these students can do this and still get credit. Now, they still have to do their homework, and it's makeup homework, but most of these kids that are in these programs are more than willing to take on those duties and lift up and do these things. So it's just a great opportunity to finally recognize these programs for what they really are, which is leadership and educational development.
Again, we're talking with Kevin Semlow. He is with the Illinois Farm Bureau and discussing young farmers and the benefits that they're getting here from the state of Illinois. Kevin, what's left to do to ensure that future farmers are best taken care of in whatever policies the state enacts?
Well, I mean, the General Assembly has stepped up, and for example, FFA has provided some assistance in providing for their registration through the schools. That's been a great boost for the FFA program, especially, but for 4-H, we've just got to keep kids involved and interested, because there's more to agriculture than just going out and doing what we think is traditional of looking at a cornfield or bean field or a pasture full of cattle. There's a lot more opportunities in agriculture. Agriculture is everything from the science development that goes into the growing of the crops and enhancing livestock. There are thousands of jobs throughout agriculture, not just out working on the farm, but in that field. And this is a great opportunity for students to do that. And we just encourage everyone to look at these opportunities of just being in 4-H and in FFA to make sure that they step up and they have these opportunities to really learn how to become a leader and be engaged in these issues.
Kevin Semlow is with the Illinois Farm Bureau joining us here. Kevin, a few years ago, I saw a study that said that the average age of farmers continues to increase, indicating that there aren't enough young people getting into the industry. Is that still a problem, and how do we address that?
It's always a problem as we see beginning farmers trying to get back into the farm or take over their family farms. There's a couple of issues out there that could be addressed that could help with that. We're always looking for programs to help beginning farmers be able to come up with the capital that it needs to buy the farmland and the equipment and just the seed and feed to get into a business like that. It's very hard and it's very expensive. So we're always looking for that. We know we've got the Illinois Finance Authority has got a few programs through the state. There's some other programs out there. The other thing is we've got to address the estate tax in Illinois. The estate tax is one of those issues that to keep a family farm, you've got to be able to pass it on from generation to generation. And unfortunately, Illinois' law currently hinders that because our farmers are asset rich. They have lots of assets, and to pass those things on, they have to sell off some of their land sometimes to pay for those taxes, which means then they're not a viable economic engine to be able to move forward. So we're really working with members of the General Assembly to bring about some reform and changes for that for farmers, and we'll be working on that here this next spring.
I appreciate you taking the time. It's always good to get an idea of how the agricultural industry and all the related industries are being impacted by state policies. We'll definitely be talking more about this in the near future. Kevin Semlow with the Illinois Farm Bureau. Greatly appreciate your time and be safe.
Thanks for having me on. Look forward to doing it more in the future.
Awesome. It is